That day I lost you, mama. I cried and I cried. I'll see you again in time. Someday to come. I miss my mama. Everything about her. I miss the stories that she used to tell. I miss my mama. I miss her laughter. No one can tell me she wasn't an angel. The only friend when I go leak a secret. No matter what they say, she'll always keep it. A mind of a warrior, heart of gold. Jesus, you are so lucky she gave you her soul. She was my therapist in testing time. Police tell her me a killer. She said not my child. Her love for me was off the grid. Mama, Viva, you believe in me. I miss my mama. Everything about her. I miss the stories that she used to tell. I miss my mama. I miss her laughter. No one can tell me she wasn't an angel. Come now, no dirty diabetes claimed her life. Must it true she was the sweetest woman alive. Up on mama yard is where we all vibe. Under the mango tree we make your soul energize. Me scream, and me still cry every day. Don't worry about that thing, we still that take care of it. Them a ask me why me face bend up, me nah play. Hey, this is where me tell you.
Good morning, friends. Good morning. Good morning. We're live from the cave. How are we doing? This is Brekky in the Cave with myself, Kovu. The red eyes return. I don't know why it happens. I must do something in my sleep, you know. If I wake up later, I still have them. By the time the show finishes, they'll be gone. Kicking off with this one. Sounds of Turbulence. A tribute to Mama. Meant to run this on yesterday, but I completely forgot. It was Mother's Day on Sunday. Hope every mother out there got something nice. A nice breakfast, a nice cup of tea maybe. Something along those lines. Lovely flavours on this one. Good morning all. How are we all doing? We are officially in lockdown now. The lockdown official has commenced. Morning man from Del Monte. How are you doing this morning, sir? Good morning Jody. Hello, hello. Good morning, Gander. Make sure you are leaving your comments in the chat as well. I want to make sure we keep this unsociable time as social as possible. So, good morning all, good morning all, good morning all. Just gone 4 minutes past 10 here on the Cub Cam YouTube channel. This is Brekky in the Cave, the temporary solution to not being able to get into Trickstar Radio. Obviously, that's where I normally host my breakfast show. And for the time being, we are going to be hosting it on this channel, which is where you can find me from 10 till 11:30, Monday to Friday. You can also catch me doing various gaming videos and other bits all the way through. We're trying to build the channel, trying to build its notoriety. Once we get to 100 subs, we can actually change the name to Cubcam TV, and we can actually have it focusing out a lot more. We can do a lot more kind of focused in promotion and bits like that. So what's coming up on today's show? Lots of bangers. I've got to say, I've been spending a lot more time kind of looking around for new music during this period of time, and it's the fact we're able to play whatever we want for the time being. It means we can play a real cool selection of bangers. That one there kicking us off with some fresh reggae music from a man like Turbulence. So yeah, there's loads of stuff on the way. We're going to look at an emergency fund for musicians worth up to 40 million, which has been launched in Germany. As well as that, we're going to be looking into how dance producers are using video game platform Twitch to perform and basically connect with their fans, as well as I want to talk about Discord, because Discord is literally my life at the moment. As I was saying yesterday, there's also two big album announcements. Cocktail Party Effect has just announced the release of a self-titled album on Pinch's Tectonic imprint. As well as that, Footsie apparently has launched a promo campaign for his debut album No Favors, so we're going to be looking at that as well. We are also going to be running this week's theme question, which is, of course, what skills are you learning during this period of time? How are you using the spare time creatively? Because that's what we need to do. We need to make sure we don't go stagnant as people. We need to make sure we don't completely stop. We want to make sure we are still moving forward. We are still learning. We are still growing as people. So there are plenty of vocational skills out there you can kind of teach yourself, be it through YouTube tutorials, be it through apps, be it through literally just looking randomly online, be it through talking to people online. Let's all try and make sure we're learning a skill. This streaming one for me is like the main thing I'm learning how to do. We're changing things up as we go. We're trying to add new elements every single day. So yeah, that's the kind of running topic for today and running order for the day. We are going to be joined by Jody Doherty Cove on the phone as well. He will be on the line from around 10 to 11, and he'll probably stay on the line through till about half past 11 as well, and that'll finish up the show. So there we go. That's the running order for today. Loads of stuff to talk about. For now, though, let's get into some more bangers. So, just announced yesterday the brand new Earth Nut release on South Point. If you didn't see the announcement, do head over to all the South Point social media platforms. You'll be able to check out this brand new release from Earth Nut. Well, you'll be able to see the preview image. We're going to run one of the tracks off it right about now. This one is Maybe So Really, possibly my favourite track on there. They're all bangers, to be honest with you. So we're going to kick off the show this morning with some smooth yet unusual garage, and I think that's a good way to start the show off. So don't go anywhere. We're live on Brekky In The Cave. This is the Cubcam YouTube channel. Oh yes! Good morning, bunch. How are you doing, sir? Good morning, Darb Surge as well. Hello, sir. Smooth flavours on this one from Earth Nut. Nice bubbly way to kick off the morning. So one was announced yesterday. We're going to run into some more detail about this one in just a second. As I said, make sure if you are looking in, you are throwing a comment on the YouTube channel, you are subscribing to the page as well. We're trying to hit that big 100 by the end of the week, ideally. It might be a bit of a risk, but it might be a bit of a task, but we'll see. We'll try and get there. That one there coming from the sounds of Earthnut, track entitled Maybe So. Really cool piece of music. That one I think is very much a good summary of what Earthnut actually do. Really kind of unique take on UK garage. That one was announced yesterday, and I wanted to say as well, while we have this opportunity here, that for South Point, it is going to be running business as usual. We're still going to be releasing, we're still going to be putting music out there, we're still accepting our submissions, we're still doing everything that we would normally be doing as a label. The current scenario doesn't really change how we operate. A lot of the stuff we do is actually online anyway, so we can actually all still work concurrently, and we actually all have a little bit more time, if we're being honest. So I'm out to Dub Sarge joining the chat this morning. How are you doing? So he says, do you like streaming on YouTube, and would you consider streaming on Twitch? I'll be honest with you, sir, I'm not a huge player on Twitch. I don't particularly use it very much. I don't really use it for streaming either. I don't even have a Twitch account, if I'm honest with you. I occasionally will click on a link, but personally I much prefer YouTube. I like the fact that the videos are concurrent with other videos you can find on there, as in you can other uploads and stuff. I just like YouTube because I use it for most of my sort of daily watching anyway. I tend to watch like YouTuber content creators rather than using Twitch primarily for gamers, because I just feel Twitch is primarily for gaming. I think there's a lot more on YouTube, and this channel primarily fits a lot better to YouTube as well, with the sort of gaming element on there, and then all the interview content on there as well. I feel it's just better to have everything in one place for me currently, and I think this is why I'm preferring to go with YouTube at the moment. Out to Bunch as well. He's saying he's cracking on very well, cracking on with my day from the home office. I'm all good, sir. You know, I woke up a little bit later today, hence the red eyes, but I'm good. I'm enjoying staying busy. We've got a lot of stuff on today. I'm recording the next episode of the Juno Download podcast this afternoon with man like Skillsy. As well as that, we're going to also be doing the recording another episode of Third Age today. So yeah, just staying busy more than anything else. Staying busy, keeping stuff on the go, and playing some bangers for you this morning. That's the kind of plan. The fact that we still have this show going on makes a huge difference, because it means I am getting up, I am getting out of bed, because I've got a funny feeling I would struggle otherwise. So let's get into some colourful vibes on this one. This one is brand new from Izo Fitzroy, out now via Jalapeno Records. Some funk and flavour available on this one. This one goes by the name of I Want Magic. It's just gone 14 minutes past 10 here on the Cubcam YouTube channel. Out to everyone locking in this morning. Remember, this is meant as a radio show. The only reason we have video up is so it's a little bit more interactive, but I do primarily work in radio, not necessarily video streaming, so this is something you can have on in the background. Don't necessarily feel you have to have this up on the front page. It's something you can just have on as a radio show. That's the kind of plan with this. So let's get into this one. Izo Fitzroy with I Want Magic. Make sure you're subscribing and leaving a comment on the channel. Oh yes.
numb to myself. Sick of you, sick of my poor mental health. But I'll keep on walking on as I've always done. Tone deaf, completely blind to the beige. Can't you see the bleakness on my page? But I hope that tomorrow brings back the sun. Yeah, yeah. I want magic, I want red. Show me the danger of the night. Don't make me beg. I want magic, I want gold. I want to dance all night and feel like I'm 10 years old. I want magic, I want black. Show me a wizardry. Come and give me what I lack. I want magic, I want it all. Won't you color me in before I fall? Little spark, a little electricity.
Smooth vibes on this one, I've got to say.
Starts to burn within the cold depths of me.
Iso Fitzroy
My dear, don't let that flame fizzle out.
with I Want Magic. Oh, yes.
I'm certain of this person that I'll become when I'm on high. Darker mountains, tackle monsters, walk through and fly. Better tiptoe on that line. Watch that step, I can't fall down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want magic, I want bread. Show me the danger of the night. Don't make me beg. I want magic, I want gold. I want to dance all night and feel like I'm 10 years old. I want magic, I want black. Show me a wizardry. Come and give me what I lack. I want magic, I want it all. Won't you color me in before I fall? Now if this very demon should take the depths of me, will I ever see the sun rise again? Or will I taste the freedom of how it used to be? And remember that joy I felt within. Now if this very demon should take the depths of me, will I ever see the sun rise again? Or will I taste the freedom of how it used to be? And remember that joy I felt within. I want magic, I want bread. Show me the danger of the night. Don't make me beg. I want magic, I want gold. I wanna dance all night and feel like I'm 10 years old. I want magic, I want bread. Show me the danger of the night. Don't make me beg. I want magic, I want gold. I wanna dance all night and feel like I'm 10 years old. I want magic, yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, I want magic, I want gold. I wanna dance all night and feel like I'm 10 years old. I want magic, ooh, yeah. I want magic, yeah. I want magic.
Smooth flavours on that one from Iso Fitzroy. I believe that one is out now via Jalapeno Records. Out to the Jalapeno gang, Brighton family. Each and every time, of course. That's what I'm talking about. Out to everyone locked in this morning. We are live on Brekky In The Cave. This is the Cubcam YouTube channel, the temporary home for Breakfast with Kovu until everything gets sorted out, essentially. So yeah, let's talk about it very briefly. We're going to be talking more to Jody about this a little bit later on, but we are on official lockdown now. So how is this going to affect day-to-day life? Well, it means we're not going to be seeing mass groups of people all getting together on the seafront. We're not going to be seeing, essentially at this point, a bit people being being a little bit irresponsible. We are going to start seeing people. We're going to start seeing people working from home a lot more. We're going to start seeing people online a lot more. I actually think this is going to make communication a lot easier for a lot of people because they're going to be in sort of home settings. They're going to be able to communicate a bit more. But yeah, it's now official, and I'm happy it's now official, so we can get on with the process that needs to happen. But yeah, we'll be talking a little bit more about. Talking a little bit more to Jody about that in just a minute. Out to Dom locked in this morning. So how are you doing? Darb Sarge says, thanks, I'm good. Hope you're well. Any tips for learning FL Studio whilst we're on lockdown? To be honest, brother, literally YouTube tutorials. It's the best way to learn to do anything with music production, I find. If you're actually looking to make sound, if you're looking to make something specific, if you're looking to make specific like patterns or melodies or anything like that, I think YouTube is probably the best place to look. Or go and check out VIP Studio Tweets on Twitter. They have a really good range of online tutorials and stuff like that. Also, you can also check out there's a project that Nerve Music runs as well, which I'm going to look up for you in just a second, because I know that's a very, very useful project for stuff like for online learning as well. But yeah, there's just pretty much just looking online, man. There's Low Education and Bass. That's the other one you should look out for. Two very good online schools that you can kind of teach yourself with. They provide a lot of tutorials online, a lot of content, and that again ties into today's theme of what skills are we learning whilst we are all locked down. I think this is a perfect time for everyone to learn a new skill. It's a perfect time for everyone to kind of gain some new information and some new sort of life skills, and just kind of come out of this with more. You know what I mean? Come out of it with more. Come out of it with more knowledge and more abilities. Essentially, I think that's a good way to look at it. I think there's going to be a few people that do waste this kind of time where we're forced to stay inside, but I think it's a good opportunity to learn things. Let's get into a track we did play yesterday. This one comes from Tremendous. This one is brand new on Hyatt Focus Records. I'm loving everything Tremendous is doing this morning. This one goes by the name of Sweetheart, so don't go anywhere.
This time alarms like it's calm. Are you ready? And it's on the form that the entrance off the squad, then it's qualms. I won't off you with it from my grandma's pension. Don't worry what we export. You have the face of someone I wouldn't want to be my ex-door. Everybody wants to go protect the king when it's the queen that takes out everybody on the chessboard. Say we your chessboard. You know I'm part deaf. Sometimes I'm part bloke. Sometimes I'm part chick. Sometimes I'm part woke. Sometimes I'm part dead. It's all at stake like a Serler. I can make your rapper rewrite his verse 10 times. Still it's the first one. Winner takes all. Don't place your bet without a scale that can fit the world. Out of character at Comic-Con. They ain't got the guts, but I take off my girdle and fling my old stomach on. I say the things that they stutter on. You will think it's a glitch. I hate that like tis, and I hate tis that. Dust bunnies for lunch money, you need shifts. Honey, this Bugs Bunny don't need. The daughter of a lineage worker, so my mother and my father couldn't teach me how to be rich. Watching E4, charging my E6. Only buy it outright, that ain't my lease. Anti-social introvert, if you couldn't reach me when I was free, you sure can't reach me at my peak. Unruly with it, what I can do is inhumane. Wouldn't believe there was a human in it. Applause if you disagree with anything I say or everything I say. Go ahead and boo me in it. Moody bitches, hanging with moody. Still I come back to school like I'm Ruby Regis. I was done in dark, come to light. Now I only travel nights with a palette of darker shades, like I'm hanging out with cooler women. I was pure to my unison. Issue in or isn't. I wanna hack figures with genius white boys inside of madness, and don't give a damn about your superstition. I don't want good, I'm still a super villain. Moving super same with talent that's not super hidden. While on a supervision, since I was sperm, I was super different. Before the end ain't trying to die to have a new beginning. From the cost there, isolated in a uni with a puny doobie in a Montclair, unruly since a toddler.
Sounds of Tremendous on this one.
Don't even stop there, don't knock here, got God near. Always been a hit since K-Swiss and a snake on my Nokia. Max stamina as I ponder.
Ridiculous tune, this one.
The anaconda. Huh?
Absolute banger, that one. So out to everyone locked in this morning. As I said before, make sure you are leaving comments, letting me know exactly what you are feeling this morning, if you're enjoying the show, and if there's any extra bits to the show you'd like to see us add, if there's more interviews, if there's specific guests that you think we could get on, that you think you'd like to hear me interview, please do let me know. As I said, today we're going to be joined by Jody Doherty Cove, who is going to be letting us know exactly what's going down in Brighton over the next couple of weeks, like what specifically is closed, what's still open. Hopefully he's going to be someone who has this information. He's been on the Trickstar show a fair few times. Obviously, he works for the Argus. Did used to work for Latest TV as well. So they've got a lot of connections, basically, with who they talk to. So we're going to be able to find out, hopefully, a bit of information a little bit more clearer for our specific area. That's the kind of plan with this anyway. I got sent over my Juno reviews yesterday. And there's some absolute... I'll tell you what, for the first official week of quarantine, there is some absolutely amazing music dropping this Friday. I can't express how good some of the stuff out there is. Not everything's really suitable for breakfast, though. A lot of it's sort of like harder, deep dubstep, or kind of like just general electronic music, which is a little bit hard hitting for the morning, but there are some absolute bangers coming out this weekend that I could not be more excited for a weekend. So one of the tunes that I did actually see pop up was this track from Brixton Bass. It's their radio edit remix of Life to Evolve by Marvel and Eli, featuring Rebecca Scales. So this is a tune, it's a garage tune, it's obviously a remix, it's a flip of a previous tune, and it's definitely the type of thing that I'm looking at the moment and really enjoying. I think what we need more than anything else is kind of uplifting, flavoursome vibes when it comes to the music selections. Obviously, I enjoy dark dubstep as much as anyone, but it's not necessarily the thing that I want to be playing on the show all the time, although we are going to be playing one because there's an absolute banger in there that I just could not resist getting that into today's track listing. So there we go. But yeah, the new episode of the Juno Download podcast is being recorded today. Straight after this, I'm jumping on the phone with today's participant, and the two labels that he runs are going to be on a bit of a special, so it should be a very enjoyable one indeed. Out to all the gang at Juno Download as well, who have come out and said the store will remain open. I love that, because obviously, again, most of Juno Download is done online, you know what I mean? It's not as if there's everyone's like posting their music through and it's getting uploaded via CD, you know what I mean? Everything's almost done sort of through distribution at this point. So that's how we're going to be carrying on with the majority of projects. 3000 still open, Juno Download still open, Breakfast is still going, and of course South Point is still open. So everything is pretty much open as normal for us. Let's crack on with this one then. The Brixton Bass edit of Life to Evolve by Marvel and Eli, with Rebecca Scales on the feature. Don't go anywhere. We're live on the Cubcam YouTube channel. It's just gone 27 minutes past 10 here. It's Brekky in the Cave. colourful flavours on this one. Brixton bass. Really cool skippy garage flavours. Life to Evolve, Marvel and Eli alongside Rebecca Scales on the original. Loads of stuff on the way. Remember, we've got this call with Jody coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Out to the Locked In crew this morning. Let us know how you're feeling. What skills are you going to learn during this period of time? Let me know. Lovely stuff. That one, as I said before, sounds of Brixton Bass, their remix of Life to Evolve. Marvel and Eli alongside Rebecca Scales on the original. So I've just put the message out there on Instagram for what skills are people planning to learn. We've had a fair few responses, to be honest with you. Let's get into a few of these then. So man like Caden says, music production as per... I'll tell you what, yeah, Caden is always producing. I swear. I think he's 14, and the entire time he is literally producing. It's a madness that he's that good at that age. Left-handed rugby passing, that comes from Tom, as well as that opening my third eye comes from Callum BTN. Interesting. We've already had those ones there. Other ones this morning, I was considering learning Spanish. I've only had 14-year break from my GCSE. So, to be honest, I think that's a good idea. A language is quite a good one. There's quite a few apps you can get now for learning languages from home or on the go. I need to message Miles actually because he has a really good one that he uses, which he does every single day. His phone's now entirely in French because he wanted to teach himself French. So there we go. But yeah, I think a language is a good one to try and learn during this period of time. Obviously, it's not as if you're going to spend you're not going to spend as much time talking on a day-to-day basis with the people around you, like from your mouth, if that makes sense. So it might not be as confusing a time to kind of pick up a second language during the downtime. As well as that, I think gaming's a good thing to get involved in. What else? I just think any sort of vocational skills or online courses you can sort of do during this period of time is a good thing to do. Whether it be almost like online health and safety courses or little things like that you've kind of been putting off doing. I think now would be a really good time to kind of get use the extra time you've got to kind of get those skills in place. I think otherwise we're wasting time. You know what I mean? The world is still going round. Everyone's still going. You know what I mean? We're just not able to move around, so I think it's quite a good idea for us to still try and learn and grow as we go. This is the theme for this week on the show, and I'm going to keep asking the question every single day and find out more and more about what people are actually doing with their with their new skill set. Oh, I've just had one in as well saying hello. We want to improve our remix skills. Okay, fair enough. That's a good one. Remixing's always good. But yeah, let's get into this one then. This one is off the brand new Razor project. I'm sort of drip feeding tracks off this brand new Razor project because it's so good. This one, the big collaboration, in my opinion, this one is Razor alongside Reese West with Stand By. The Sharp one is out now. It dropped on Friday via all stores, so you can go and stream the entire thing. I'm going to drip feed a track a day from it, as I was the executive producer on the project. I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of like showcase a few bits as well. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We are live on the Cubcam YouTube channel. This is Brekky In The Cave. In a few few minutes, we are going to be jumping on the phone with man like Jody Doherty Cove, and probably going all the way through till the end of the show, just having a conversation about what is specifically going to be affected in Brighton via the new official lockdown scenario. So there we go.
Get your facts right. From a place where there ain't heroes, straight bad guys. Get wet up, eyelids closed, baptized. Them man, I ride your wave till they capsize. So a fake bad boy don't faze me. Permanent ink. You tryna draw man out, that's crazy. I watch mum grind, I can never be lazy. Man, when I chat about clash, better pay me. Yeah, better pay me. Money up front, better pay me. I've been strapping up bars on a daily. Trust me, I'm keeping it wavy. Trust me or not, man, I'm keeping it real. Moving like Brexit voters refusing a deal. Come like mechanical, I'm used to the wheel. Act right, blood, sweat, tears, and crud on a track.
Out to man like Bunch, I have an answer for you, but it takes a while.
I'm that guy, that's what.
So I'm going to let you know in just a second when this one finishes.
On standby. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Act right, blood, sweat, tears, and crud on a track. I brought them dubs for the club, bring it back like. Got to use that flow, I'm that guy, that's why. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby.
Yeah, and I'm the alpha Uno, you know. And I'm old school like Ludo. These man all move tap for the clout. Oh no Pino, yard no Hublot. Book for free, no fee, no rider. Passport's got more tats than Tiger. I got the keys and calls their minors. When I go in, they pre for the keyhole. 9 like these MCs that say something mad in the first 2 bars for the reload. Something like suck your mum and I've got a gun. Long shank weighing a ton. When I see ops, they run their gums. See plums put on standby. I'm on the pitch while them lot standby. Back with razor, sharp and anti.
Act right, blood, sweat, tears, and crud on a track. I brought them dubs for the club, bring it back like. Got to use that flow, I'm that guy, that's why. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Act right, blood, sweat, tears, and crud on a track. I brought them dubs for the club, bring it back like. Got to use that flow, I'm that guy, that's why. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. I don't give a fuck who your friend is. I couldn't give a fuck where your ends is. Even if I'm vexed when I say it, I meant it. Basic to me, some apprentice. You have to earn my respect to my friendship. I don't get down with the get along gang. So if you do, but I'll get on your bike and pedal on, man. Car, I've got levels and levels and levels on, man. Wave maker, I would never sell my soul for the paper. Wanna bet against rain? Brave wager. Try chat wicked, get hit with 108 haymakers. Since I'm told, man, don't ever ring my phone for a favor. Not trying to be the grime scene savior. Me, I'm trying to make the grime scene wake up. Act right, blood, sweat, tears, and crud on a track. I brought them dubs for the club, bring it back like. Had to use that flow, I'm that guy, that's why. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Act right, blood, sweat, tears, and crud on a track. I brought them dubs for the club, bring it back like. Had to use that flow, I'm that guy, that's why. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby. Man, I might put an on-screen bad boy on standby.
Right then, we're inside the building. That one there coming from man like Razor alongside Reese West with Standby. That project is out now. The Sharp One. It's available via all stores, and it's a fantastic project. So do go and check it out. I've only just seen this morning. The date actually completely slipped my mind. That Disney Plus is now live in the UK. So wow. I did not realise it was out today. So there we go. Disney Plus is out today. So if you're looking for some new stuff to watch, some new bits on there, some new series to get into, films or whatever, Disney Plus is now available to get the account for, which is a madness, really. I've been seeing an offer everywhere. It's $49.99 for the whole year. I don't know if that's actually still going to be valid now. It's actually launched, but it was I'm looking at it going, I probably should have done that because I do want to get Disney Plus. That's the thing. There's so much stuff on there. You've got all the Star Wars stuff. You've got all of the new Marvel stuff as well. All of the new series is when they actually come into effect. Obviously, everything's been put on standby for the time being. But when they do actually start to roll out and they do start to have them dropping again and new films dropping again, Disney own pretty much everything as well. Remember, Disney own Avatar as well. So when the new Avatar film drops, it will drop on Disney+. When the new Marvel films drop, they'll drop on Disney+. Same with Star Wars. Same with every Pixar film as well. So I think it's definitely worth getting out of all of the streaming platforms. I think Disney is going to be the one that's definitely worth getting, because I think they own, they own a sports channel as well, which I actually can't remember off the top of my head, and they also own National Geographic as well, and The Simpsons. So there's so much stuff on there. If you are looking for stuff to pass the time, Disney Plus is definitely a good shout. And I completely forgot that it actually dropped today. I've just seen it pop up on my timeline. So yeah, there's loads of guides about what you need to know online. I'm literally looking through a few of them now. There's quite an interesting one up on the Telegraph website as well, which basically gives you all the information you need, what age you need to be to have an account and everything like that. I mean, it's not difficult to sign up to something like released on Pinch's Tectonic Records on May the 1st. So Cocktail Party Effect is a noisy album full of unsettling, abrasive productions that straddle grime, dubstep, dancehall and techno. It flits without meandering, entirely purposeful but quick moving. Blink and you'll miss it. And that is the official word from Mixmag. Now, Cocktail Party Effect, an old friend of mine. We used to mix together literally in Brighton back in the day when he was still called Casket. Played a couple of festivals together as well, back like way a long time ago. Here we're talking like over 10 years ago at this point. But yeah, I'm really happy to see this. He's still doing some amazing stuff. Amazing producer. Definitely an album I'd recommend checking out if you are an electronic music fan. Definitely. Also, the launch of Footsie's album has been announced as well. No Favors is out on May the 22nd. So it's again, as I said before, it's looking like a lot of the kind of music industry stuff is going ahead as normal. It's just physical sales and physical shows are what's going to be removed. So Spotify stuff is going ahead as per. It's looking as well as though sort of streaming stuff in general, online sales, album launches are all still going to be going ahead as per. We're going to still be seeing music videos as well. How people are going to be doing music videos is going to be interesting. This is definitely a period where people are going to have to be creative when it comes to music video information and stuff like that. So yeah, there we go. 2 big album launches. Really exciting stuff to see. Right, let's get into another banger, shall we? Before you catch me waffling on for far too long. Let's get into this one from Day 2. Now, this is a dubstep tune that did pop up on my Juno download feed yesterday. I said I didn't want to play too many dubstep tunes on breakfast because it is quite like a deep and dark genre. It's not necessarily the sort of thing that's going to get you up and in a really like colourful mood for the morning. But this tune I heard and I thought, you know what, this is definitely one that's going to get run on Brekky because it has got the vocal element to it, and it's a certified banger. There's no two ways about it. So we're going to get into this one now. This one is Day 2 with Stay Low. I don't know who the vocalist is though. I need to do some additional digging on it, but I couldn't find any information on the vocalist anywhere. So keep it locked. Just gone 44 minutes past 10. It turned as I was looking at the time. 44 minutes past 10 here on Brekky In The Cave. This is the Cubcam YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribing to the video. Leave a comment in the live comment section and I'll reply to everyone as well. Oh no, I forgot to say Bunch. In regards to drum samples, literally I'd recommend Spliced or just looking on the Loopmasters website if you're doing it. If you're looking for free ones, to be honest, trailing somewhere like Legoland and just searching free sample pack, or even SoundCloud and just going onto the Cymatics SoundCloud page. They have loads of free packs available on there, full of free drum sounds, and just literally just Google free drum production packs. You'll find loads of stuff. So many people put up free download drum packs because as someone who's made sample packs before, drums are like almost the kind of like first thing you get done. So it's not so people who record sample packs all the time, they like to get their drums done first. So a lot of the time there'll be excess drums there'll be spare drum bits. So literally just look online. Google it or literally look in Legoland or SoundCloud. I think they're the best places. Just free drum sample pack. That'll be the best place to find your drum samples. Obviously, synths and stuff you're probably going to have to spend a little bit on to get stuff like native instruments as well. But there we go. That's my best advice on that one. So let's get into this one. As I said before, this one is Day 2 with Stay Low. Don't go anywhere. We're live on the Cubcam YouTube channel.
telephone. So simmer down and send me tone. Don't you know that we're dealing with them heavy loads? Got that sauce that will make you feel hella blown. Think I'm hiding from it cause I hide the profit. Plug fucks with purple cookies, now we cyberdogging. You think you can touch this wave when we riding on it? No. Just sitting in the thick of it. Mind spread out of this maze when I'm sick of it. Nothing left but some Rizzler and a 50-bit. Thinking all these possibilities are infinite. We're getting wavy, getting swazy, getting faded every day until we make it to the Matrix. I wouldn't say I do this any other way because I'm stubborn and I'm growing to hate it. It's pleasure when we get together, nothing better. Feeling clever when I resonate the pressure car. I'm coming down, can't you feel the roof ticking off? Like a feather, I'm not joking when I make it up. Said, why is there no sunshine beside my face? I like to hide away when the skies are grey. So I just let this stormy weather come decide my fate. I used to say that if there is a will, but I can't find a way. Mixed emotions colouring in upon my rainbow. Is this my time? Cause I cannot win, no, I cannot say no. It's hard to say, but all I can say is I'm afraid so. Keeping it real, keeping it straight, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Keeping it straight, keeping it real, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Mixed emotions colouring in upon my rainbow. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Keeping it straight, keeping it real, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Low, that's why I stay low. Mixed emotions colouring in upon my rainbow.
Sounds of day 2 on that one with Stay Low. Again, I have no idea who the vocalist is. That one is out this Friday via Inner Mind Recordings. Really, really cool tune there. Dubstep flavours, and I'm really, really liking what's going on with that one. So, what we're going to do next is jump into one more banger before we get into this conversation with man like Jody Doherty Cove. I'm going to bring him up in just a second. Hopefully he's still available on the line. I need to make sure I've got my phone attachment there. There it is, my little my fashioned together selfie stick phone stand, as you can see. See, getting creative in the cave. I think that's what everyone needs to be doing. That's the example I'm trying to set. Be creative during this period of time. Learn a new skill. Learn to build. Learn to carpent. Something like that, I think, is probably a good thing that you can all learn to do. So this one is a track I actually ran yesterday. Really, really like this one. It's Fuente, Tu sais pas, featuring Murder, he wrote, I believe, on a sort of production level. So let's get into this one then, and I'm going to bring up Jody in just a second. Remember, we're going to be talking about everything to do with how Corona is affecting Brighton specifically. So there's going to be some, possibly some scary news, just so everyone is aware, but I want to make sure we are getting as much information out there as possible where we can. So don't go anywhere.
Nous pouvons danser, ploguer, 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 ploguer. Comme plaisir, danser bien fait sauter, pomper. Juste comme fait mal aussi, puis m'pencher, m'plier, m'caguer. Quand tout c'est pas au musique la chou, musique la douce. Tant qu'on s'y voit aussi, puis m'glisser, m'tomber sous dos. Plein ta fiao, car beauté, car bouger. Lui fait, j'aime faire zoom, zoom, zoom. T'es pour moi. C'est pour moi, il fait qu'elle fait boum boum boum. Car les grands marques cap déposé, les fans utiles, papier métil. Car les grands pas cap chauffé, ensemble flaner et des bons flaners. Tout c'est, Assoya nous pas danser, ploguer, 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 ploguer. Code plaisir, Il fait chaud, et voici on va fraîcher. Pas London, mais de l'autre répond. On va tous cramer, mon frère. Dans des gens, pas son bondé. Pas d'adis, on grand doux. Haïti, sac passé, fonter son grand doux.
Right then, how are we doing this morning, my friends? This is Brekky in the Cave. Out to everyone locked in this morning. We're going to be moving into a very specific conversation next. Man like Jody Doherty Cove from the Argus joins me on the phone. How are you doing this morning, sir? You all good?
Yeah, not too bad. How you doing?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. I think I'm entering. I think this is week 2 of. Is it self-quarantine or self-isolation? Because they mean different things.
Probably self-isolation.
Yeah,
we'll
I think that's the one. Yeah, basically, as in I'm staying inside because I don't want to get it in case I give it to my family. Essentially, that's the sort of scenario.
Yeah.
I've been holding down.
Sensible.
I'm trying to be as sensible as I possibly can. So obviously it's a busy time for yourself. I mean, talk me through how everything's looking.
So the situation as it stands in Sussex at the moment is that there have been 17 cases in Brighton and Hove. There's been slightly more than that in West Sussex and slightly less than that in East Sussex. But obviously cases everywhere in the country are going up and going up exponentially. And this is the reason why the government has imposed these strict measures as they did last night, because what they're trying to do is limit the spread of this virus as much as possible to give our hospitals, the Royal Sussex down in Brighton, the best chance to give the best care to people who end up having to be hospitalised for this virus.
Okay, so this from kind of your perspective, then this is something that is completely necessary at this point.
Well, it is. It certainly is. At every step of the way, the government say that they have been following the medical advice, and it's debatable about whether this could have started earlier. But it is clear across. It's clear that the World Health Organization recommend it. Countries across the world have been doing it. China, obviously, the leading example in this particular measure of social distancing. Of locking down countries, because it's the only way to limit the spread of this virus. So in this short term, that's the key thing, is getting the cases on that sort of downward slope, so that our hospitals have every chance of coping with it. And so this is a measure that needed to be brought in, because we have seen in other countries and in our own now, when the measures aren't put in place, this virus does spread very rapidly.
Yeah, and I think from what I've seen happening, obviously worldwide, the thing I keep saying is that, or seeing, sorry, is that we are on this 2-week behind sort of scenario with the rest of Europe.
Well, it's the 2 weeks behind on with Italy, and it does. I mean, the lockdown was imposed around this sort of time in Italy timescales as well. On Sunday, the death rate matched up perfectly with Italy at 233, but actually the the death rate in England isn't staying the same as Italy. It's actually slightly less at the moment. So you have to be very careful with drawing comparisons with other countries, specifically like that, because populations are different, habits are different, so you have to be very careful with doing it. But it gives a sort of rough idea about what could happen or where we might be going.
I think obviously what we can kind of see from this overall as well is that it's a lot of still at this point I feel there's a lot of guesswork involved a lot of the time in regards to like looking at how things will go.
Well, but it is the start of this. It's not the middle and it's not the end. So there is a lot of guesswork that has to go in, but the more you can make that guesswork predictions based on fact and evidence that is happening elsewhere, and that's where we can start getting in measures that are actually will work in our country. So
definitely, man. Like I think like how is this affecting you, like work wise? Are you still pretty much just straight up working from home?
Yeah, so we started working from home last week. A lot of the interviews and stuff that we do are over the phone. So in that respect, it doesn't really change much. Obviously, there are so many things happening at one point. Which obviously makes it difficult for us to keep on top of everything. But we're doing a good job, and we've got a live blog that people can visit online, which gives sort of up-to-date information of what's happening in your area, what's happening nationally, the local advice, what to do in particular situations. We're running that, and other news outlets are as well. So if there are any sort of questions that people had specifically, then obviously they could go on there and they might actually be answered for them.
Okay, very interesting. I mean, obviously we've seen the last couple of days or so, seemingly more people have gone outside than ever before in the last couple of days, or at least that's how it seems to look. Sorry, Karen. You're going to say?
So, I mean, you're totally right there. I mean, the Downs had they announced on Saturday evening that they had the largest amount of visitors that they've ever had into the centres up there, which is obviously people saying, well, I can't go to the pub. Where shall I go? And so they went to the Downs or they went to the beach, or people weren't listening to that advice to socially distance themselves, and so that is why these measures, have had to be brought in, and there's now a threat of being fined or something like that because people just weren't following these messages, despite sort of pleas, obviously, from NHS workers inside the hospitals who are saying, this is working, and we all have our bit to play to make sure that we can bring, what's called the curve, the amount of people that have this at any one time, to bring that down and flatten it out as much as possible.
Okay, so do you feel with this then that people may have acted a bit irresponsibly, considering?
Yeah, I'm not going to name many names of pubs in Brighton, but what I will say is I've had a number of reports of pubs in Brighton on Friday night lowering their prices to £2 a pint to get as many people as possible into their venue on that sort of one last bash. Now, it's important to remember that many pubs closed before those financial assurances that were given on Thursday or Friday press conference, and many more closed after. However, there was a select few that lowered their prices to pack out the pubs. Now, that's incredibly irresponsible because, we're no one can plead ignorance to this. We all know that social distancing is what's being recommended by scientists. And so I'm not talking about the staff, I'm talking about the owners who made the decision to keep those pubs open well into the evening, until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and lower their prices to pack and get everyone in there. I think that was incredibly irresponsible. And obviously people who do go and flout this advice are irresponsible as well, because, okay, yes, the evidence at the moment is showing that young people are not as affected by this. And, if you do want to go to a pub and, or get close to other people and infect yourself, well, that's a risk that you're taking. But what people need to understand is the people that you now come into contact with, elderly relatives, vulnerable relatives, other people, they didn't decide to take that risk. So everyone is now responsible for each other's health, and that's what people need to remember when they're going about their day and deciding what they're doing.
Definitely, man. I think like as you were saying, there is only so far sort of pleading ignorance can kind of go with this, because it's been all that's been on the news for the last couple of weeks. Where have you gone? You still there? I think my internet may have cut out, guys. Right, yes, we are on the line with Jody. Hopefully we'll be able to get the signal back.
Oh, hello, I think I'm back.
There we go. There we go. So it cut out basically around the point where you got to sort of elderly people.
Yeah, so what we have to do, what we have to do is look after our and make sure that we follow the advice, because people listening to this show might think, I'll be fine if I it, but what you have to think of is that might be a risk that you're willing to take it, and so the people that you spread it to, elderly relatives, will not be the ones taking that risk, but the ones who will be, very badly affected by the virus.
Definitely, and I think what the question I was going to say is, I think at this point as well, I think it is very difficult for people to plead ignorance. Like I saw a lot of people on my news feed and stuff going out for the last pint or whatever, and it's like, well, my kind of opinion of it is this, like, now the assurances have been made, you're still going to be able to do that in a few months' time, and the kind of mindset I've been trying to give to people more than anything else is, like, use this time to do something else, use it to learn a skill, use it to, like, learn a vocational topic or something like that.
It's good advice. I mean, obviously, mental health is something that comes into a big part of this. People need to, stay happy, have something to do while they're inside. And so, getting through this is it's much a mental battle as it is, anything else. But you have to see these things in context. I mean, years and years and years ago, people were sent to the front lines to go fight a war, and now we're being asked is just to sit at home and stay on the couch. And I know it's one I'd probably rather prefer to do.
I mean, this is the thing I found quite surprising, actually. I don't know if you're the same on this, but I found it quite surprising how many people are, like, kind of alien to the concept of working from home.
It's an interesting point, actually, because it makes you think how many jobs can be done from home.
Yeah.
Obviously we're packing out offices and every day, getting transport, and all these meetings that people have each day, which they obviously can't have as much. And it'd be interesting, when this is all said and done, whether it does change the work habits. I mean, if you look in the position of a manager who's running a few offices, he might think, well, if we don't actually have to pay rent on the offices as we, and everyone can work from home, then why people shouldn't do it? And I think that could potentially, obviously it's early days, but that could be potentially one of the things that, this virus changes afterwards.
Definitely.
Maybe work habits might change.
I think work habits are likely to change. I mean, I think a big one that I've seen, I was on the phone to Max Wheeler yesterday, who runs a lot. He works in e-education a fair bit, basically, for music teaching. And he was saying, like, his kind of so many people have been signing up to sort of e-learning and stuff like that. And he thinks that it's going to be quite a big shift towards e-learning in the future, purely because of what this will almost uncover for people.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, universities are having to adapt to this. Schools are having to adapt to this. Obviously, it depends on how long this is going on for. But e-learning has been, making waves anyway within the learning community for quite a while now. So, this is obviously just a driver to to better expand that. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of consequences because of the virus, and I think working from home and e-learning, could be a couple of those.
Definitely, man. So, kind of like looking forward then, from kind of where you're sort of standing, like how, like, obviously we saw this get imposed yesterday, and I believe it's 3 weeks is when it gets reviewed.
Yeah, so it'll be reviewed in 3 weeks. It's impossible to say how long this exactly will go on for. The only sort of scientific thing that we could look at to maybe give us a rough estimate is the Imperial College London report, which actually changed the way that the government was approaching this. Before, we were having, this sort of herd immunity sort of aspect to it, and now we're going on, full on sort of mitigating the impact of it. And it came from this Imperial College report, which estimated 250,000 people would die in the space of a few months. Obviously, that has changed now because they proposed this, this sort of mitigation containment strategy that basically puts in these measures, 3 months or whatever for locking down and shutting things down, bringing that curve down, and then relaxing some of the rules. So then, so people can go out a bit, enjoy a bit more of their lives. Obviously, the cases are then going to start creeping back up again, and that's when you'll see the second wave of lockdowns and things happening. And as opposed to how long this is going to go on for, I would point to the head of infectious diseases at the Royal Sussex. When he was speaking in a video on Sunday, where he said, this could go on for a couple of months. This could even go on to the end of the year.
Okay, so at the minute, there's no kind of confirmed expected sort of timescale for this, because purely because we don't know how it will evolve.
Exactly. We don't know how this is going to happen. That Imperial College report suggested that the only way that this is going to come under control is through vaccinations, and vaccinations are looking at least a year away.
Okay. In regards to like vaccination and stuff, then where does that information come from that is looking about a year away?
So if people can go and see the Imperial College London coronavirus report, which is available online, and that is the report that changed this whole strategy. And they basically modelled how this virus would spread, and that is the conclusion that they came to, that actually the only proper way that this is going to be sorted is by stretching this out over a long period of time, and waiting for a vaccine. Now, it's this is what people need to remember, is that it's those people that would have died that is what we're doing this for. Obviously it's difficult for us, having to stay inside, having to change our habits, but at the end of the day, this is about saving lives.
Definitely. And I think, I think more than anything else, I think that might be a thing that didn't really get through to the British public at first. Purely because obviously we still saw people going around and this whole thing of like, oh, it won't really affect me or whatever. Do you think that mind state might have sort of shifted over the past sort of 24 hours?
I hope so. I do hope so. Obviously, you see a lot of people completely flouting the rules. I think they've been called COVID idiots.
Yeah,
on,
that's the hashtag I saw this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just hope that it's getting through to people. And what last night was, saying was, it's basically, that people weren't adhering to these rules. Everyone saw the pictures over the weekend of people, down on Brighton Beach, in parks, doing all sorts of stuff, not maintaining that social distance. And so now, these measures have had to come in to really tell people, no, this is, we're not asking, we're telling now, because people just weren't getting it. Obviously it's early days to say whether those that's going to be effective in getting people to maintain these social distancing rules. Stay at home as much as possible. Staying at home saves lives. If you are outside and have to go, exercise or anything like that, stay 2 meters apart from people. Don't go and see family and friends. Keep with the people that you're living with. And if you come down with any symptoms, which is a persistent cough or a high fever, then stay inside.
Okay, so that's still, in regards to like advice for symptoms and stuff, is that still the go-to stuff, the high fever and the extended cough?
Yeah, so the actual advice is that persistent, it's called a persistent cough. So persistent cough and a high fever. Those are the symptoms that you need to look out for. Now, obviously, it could just be a cold or a flu or anything like that. But this is why there's sort of this blanket sort of advice given, because they can't risk this sort of spreading within the community, because the scientific advice shows at the moment that it takes that you are infectious for about 5 days before your symptoms start to show. That is why this is spreading so quickly, because it's, normally if you get ill, you stay at home and isolate yourself anyway, and people don't come near you. But because, this is, people are infecting other people without realising, this is why these sort of draconian measures have to come into effect. So, persistent cough and high fever, you have to stay at home. And also that also includes people that you're living with as well.
Definitely. I think more than anything else, I think more than anything else with this, I think now it's a case of communication as much as anything else.
Yeah, communication, you're totally right. Communication is key. Obviously, there's these, I don't know whether they'll still be going on. Last night was obviously a pre-recorded message, because you can't have everyone, or the press conference held in a room after you've told everyone to stay away from each other. But, that the government is trying very hard to get this message out to people. They've, doing these daily news conferences, or they did. That they've got a massive campaign on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen that. A massive campaign on Twitter. And I think this information should be getting through to people, because it's all available to them. Now, obviously, it becomes a little bit more difficult when, you're talking about very particular circumstances. And that is obviously where they're still trying to work out, the ins and outs of what's happening. I know there was a bit of confusion after last night's conference about whether people should be going to work tomorrow, because, people felt that was unclear. But, there is information online, but I think enough information is coming out.
Okay, cool. So obviously we won't keep you for too much longer. I just kind of want to get as much information as possible before we round the show up. So in regards to moving forward, then, do you think realistically that 3-week period is going to be when we see a few things change or relax?
It's way too early to tell, really, because there hasn't really been any precedent to it anywhere else. The good news is in Italy, obviously, it seems like for the last 2 days, and this is great news, the last 2 days, their cases per day have gone down, and their deaths per day have also gone down, which could be the early indicators that these lockdown measures come into, and they've been locked down for a couple of weeks now. Maybe that's the early indication that it takes 2 weeks for these lockdown measures to work. But then, obviously, how well they're going to work and how much they're going to bring it down to is still completely up in the air. So I would say at least 3 weeks. It is certainly at least 3 weeks. And after that, it's keep your eyes out for how these lockdown measures are working in other places elsewhere, including Italy and Germany and things like that, to give you a rough indicator of when these might be relaxed here. But I implore everyone to go and read that Imperial College report, which is online. You can actually find the direct link for that online, and you can see what they've recommended. And the government at the moment is basing their strategy off that advice. So have a look at that.
Okay, wicked. So in regards to stories and stuff like that, are you going to be still on the case with a lot of it?
Yeah. Well, I'm currently running the live blog on the Argus at the moment. We're doing, we got our reporters are working around the clock really to try and tell as many of these stories that are out there as possible. I'm currently working on the problems associated with care homes. I'm not sure if people saw the report yesterday about the suspected outbreak in Hove. There seems to be, these are key issues, and it's how quickly this thing is happening makes it very difficult to cover, because a story might be relevant, now, and it won't be in 2 hours' time. So it's about getting things up quickly and getting that information quickly to people. So care homes is a big one for me at the moment. I've got off the phone earlier with a very tearful care home manager who says that some of their that they're struggling to get food because people have panic bought all of the food in the local supermarket, and obviously these rations are now in place. So if they've got 32 people to feed within their care home and then they send someone down, they can only buy 4 pints of milk or whatever it is, or they can only get a couple of packets of loo roll. So there's still a gap there with care homes in particular, where they haven't got the right proper protective equipment, they claim, and that they claim that also that they're not getting enough food into the home as well. So it's about chasing down the authorities for me today anyway, and seeing what can be done to help them. Okay, so stuff like that. I mean, obviously with the sort of reporting you do, you are very kind of localised in a lot of stuff you do. You're very much on the ground in Brighton, going to and from places. Like, how, just on a personal note, like, how have you found primarily doing stuff online rather than moving around to do other bits? Oh, I think you've cut out there. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you again.
Yeah, back. Yeah, I mean, you miss a lot of the human connection because you when you're out and about, you're generally spending time with someone. I mean, you're looking at them in their eyes, and you can tell a lot about the story, a lot about people, and when you're actually there in the situation with them, obviously that's not possible anymore. It's all has to be done over the phone. So it does change that sort of that human connection when you're doing a story, which is obviously a downside. But obviously on the upside, the internet is obviously a fantastic place to source stories and contributors and news, and so with a few screens in front of you, you can keep tabs on everything that's happening, so which is obviously an upside. So working from home obviously has its upsides and downsides. I mean, I've gone for about 4 teas this morning because I find myself just constantly eating.
Yeah, there's I tell you what, there's a tweet I saw which has literally rung true for me so heavy, which is, am I hungry or am I bored? That's literally the tweet that's stuck with me.
No, it certainly is. I mean, that's literally how I feel all the time. I mean, you have to keep reminding yourself to go outside and sit on the balcony or something like that, to stop yourself from going insane, because otherwise you would be sitting at a computer desk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and literally sitting here eating whatever you can get your hands on. I mean, I run out of biscuits on day one, so
the emergency biscuit box has been raided.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So what we're gonna finish up here. So just on a personal note, like, what would your advice be to people who are kind of like who are, obviously everyone's having to stay at home now? Like, what would be like your advice in regards to kind of, as you said, staying sane?
Sorry, say it again. Just broke up a little bit.
As in, what would be your advice in regards to, as you said, kind of like staying like in a good headspace?
Stay in a good headspace. Well, at the moment, you're allowed one piece of exercise a day. That could be walking, running. Take that. Certainly, get out, see the fresh air. If you've got a balcony, spend some time on it. Just be outside, keep connected. With friends and family, instead of ringing people over the phone, why not Skype them? Seeing someone face to face is always better for people. And if you've got vulnerable, grandparents or people, who are having to stay inside and they're being shielded at the moment, give them a ring. I mean, this is a fantastic chance to catch up with your family, people you haven't spoken to in ages. So give them a ring. That'd be my advice. Okay, wicked, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Thank you for joining me on the line. I know you're literally running around like an absolute, well, inside the house obviously, but kind of cyber running around on a ridiculous scale at the moment, so thank you for taking the time out of your day. Ideally, if there's any specific information that you want to let me know, literally, as in we can broadcast out, literally just let me know and we'll go from there, and I can obviously get it out as soon as possible. Fantastic. Good stuff, man. Well, stay safe, everyone. Definitely. Yes, do stay safe. And what we'll do is next, we'll jump into a tune, and then we'll move forward towards the end of the show. We've got about 10 minutes left of Brekky in the Cave. So what I'm going to be doing next is running this one from... what should we do? What tune should we run? Let's run this one then from Shura. Sorry, this one is Elevator Girl. Keep it locked. We are live on the Cubcam YouTube channel.
Maybe if it all works out, we got something so sweet. 22 flights of silence before I let you in. 22 flights of silence elevate your skin. It's just like a film someone made based on a book that I read. So sweet, so strange. Uh-huh. I gotta go to my room. She elevates my world.
Good morning, Marauder. How are you doing, sir? Massive shouts out to Jody on the phone. We're going to finish up with a couple of bangers and a couple of other bits of news here on Brekky In The Cave.
I'm high, it's like a drug. She's my elevator girl. Underwater, falling for you feels just like flying through the sky like angels. Ecstasy. 22 flights of silence. 22 flights of silence. I got a girl in my room. She elevates my world. She elevates my world. She elevates my world. 22 floors up. I'm high, it's like a drug. She's my elevator girl.
I buried one gin and tonic too many, or maybe you just had plenty of reason to tempt me, asking if I dip to swim your current. Is it me or did the tide shift? Drowning in your eyes grip, room key in my palm, anxiety make my mind trip. 22nd floor, second room on the left. Now I'm past your door, you laying weight of caress. All we needed was a swing of the hips, some wings and some lips, couple touches of a button. Won't you give me your lip, baby?
She elevates my world. She elevates my world. 22 floors up. I'm high, it's like a drug. She's my elevator girl.
Wicked tune, that one coming from Shura. Absolutely loving the stuff she's doing at the minute. So yeah, that's that one. What a banger that one is. On the way for the rest of the show, well, we're about to finish up. We've got about 5-6 minutes left of the show. So we're going to be looking at a couple of, we're going to play one more banger and rounding everything up here. So I'm going to run through a little bit of news that I've seen popping up. We're looking at this. So, emergency coronavirus fund for musicians worth up to 40 million launched in Germany. As an emergency coronavirus fund for musicians worth up to 40 million has been launched. GEMA, the German Performing Rights Association, have made the announcement yesterday that they have the intended recipients being songwriters and composers for this £40 million fund. 40 million euros, sorry, I should say. It's already foreseeable that the economic consequences of the corona pandemic will be devastating for the entire creative industry, says Dr. Harold Hecker, CEO of GEMA, and they've said they will use all available means to support its existentially threatened members at the best they can to cushion the economic and catastrophic effects for their customers. So the first payments will be allocated to eligible artists who perform live and have therefore lost significant earnings amongst the current ongoing global crisis. The second batch of revenue will be given to individual hardship cases within the songwriting industry. So this is good, and I do feel this is something that the UK government should be doing. I think this is something that we should be looking into. Nightlife is such a crucial part of of UK culture. And a lot of the time with this as well, you have to remember it's not necessarily touring DJs. A lot of the time this is resident DJs who play in clubs every night, you know what I mean? These are DJs who will play in like bars and stuff like that. They've lost a big chunk of their income as well. It's not just like the big tour names. You can sort of go, oh, it's fine, they've probably got loads of money plugged away. No, a lot of people who play sort of DJ shows in like in for instance places like Black Lion in Brighton, or like the Western, or places like that where you have DJs set up there, that they're places that now aren't going to be open, so they're losing their income as well. So you see what I mean? There's a lot of elements to this. It's not just big name people who live off DJing. You know what I mean? A lot of the time it's residents. It's yeah, there's so many elements to it that we have to kind of look at. So well done, Germany, for cracking on with that one. And that will pretty much round up the show. We're going to finish up with a tune from Jafro, and that will be us. So keep it locked. This has been the Cubcam YouTube channel, as per. This is Brekky in the Cave. And you know what? We're keeping the vibes good. We're keeping the vibes nice and lively. And so far, I've been very much enjoying the stream. As I've said before, please do make sure you are liking and subscribing each video, or subscribing to the channel, liking each video, leaving comments, and also adding stuff to the chat as we go. Thanks to everyone who's been locked in, and I'll see you same time tomorrow morning. I'm going to be joined by a dubstep mastermind in Sepia tomorrow morning. One of my favourite producers out there right now. He's just had a new track drop on Deep, Dark and Dangerous, so we're going to be on the phone with him from around past through till around 10. Realistically, I'm going to try and get about around half an hour out of him, so that's what we'll do. Keep it locked, everyone. Just gone 27 minutes past 11 here on the Cubcam YouTube channel, and I'll see you all same time tomorrow morning. We're going to let this one run through. Jafro featuring Low Fades. This one is Peace.
I'm the Amazon boy from the jungle. I'm the Jaguar. I'm the Guyanese boy. I would rather throw the peace sign up than have a peace by my side to keep the peace from me. But they don't wanna give me no peace of mind and let my mind rest in peace. You get a piece of my mind before you even get a whiff of the piece of my base. Like you don't want a piece of me. Nah, you don't want a piece of. Life keeps switching up, man, it's so perplexing. But I ain't pressed, I can cope with pressures. You on the other hand, crushed by the pressure, man, that's so depressing. I just treated the pressure like shoulder presses. And I done loads of sets and I got loads of reps in. Now behold the strength to rip your soul from your solar plexus. Just know that everything I own or I'm gonna be getting, I had to go and get it. Let's go and get it. I've come for revenge and honey's in my bed and a slice of the cheesecake, a money-filled briefcase. But check it, thou shalt not change thy tune, and thou shalt not play by rules, and thou shalt not play thy fool, cause that's how thou get played by fools. I'm the Amazon boy from the jungle. Yeah, I'm the Jaguar. I'm the Guyanese boy. And I tell him like, I would rather throw the peace sign up than have a peace by my side to keep the peace from me. They don't wanna give me no peace of mind and let my mind rest in peace. You get a piece of my mind before you even get a whiff of the piece of my base. Like you don't want a piece of me. Nah, you don't want a piece of. I hope you know what I gave for this, and all the pain that I take for this. The way I went out my way for this. Yeah. I was like a slave for this. Now let me show you what greatness is. What greatness is. Now I'm sick of all these dons that were the biggest in their pond, but it be different when you're swimming in the sea. They don't wanna see me winning. They be saying something fishy going on because they seen a brother jumping upstream. I just rearranged my time and I got the right item. I don't need to spell it out, but take note and you'll see. They only wanna tell you about the pieces you've been missing in your puzzle. I forever make them hold their peace. Who am I? Who am I? I'm the Amazon boy from the jungle. That's right. And I'm the Jaguar. I am the Guyanese boy. I am the Guyanese boy. And now I'd rather throw the peace sign up than have a peace by my side to keep the peace from me. They don't wanna give me no peace of mind and let my mind rest in peace. You get a piece of my mind before you even get a
of my vibe, like you don't want a piece of me. Nah, you don't want a piece of. See, I would rather for the peace sign of another.
Right, that's it from me, friends. I'll be back same time tomorrow morning. We do have another episode of Third Age dropping this afternoon. That'll be going up around 5ish. So yeah, keep it locked. We've got loads of stuff on the way for the day. There's going to be a review up of Swedge's new project on 3000.co.uk later on as well. So keep it locked, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and have a little look around as well. There's loads of good stuff on here. See you later, my friends. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.